Hello, Louisville. Guess who's coming to dinner? Guess who's coming to dinner? It's dinner time in the Ville. Okay, I'm kind of hyped up this evening, because this show this evening is a first of its kind because it's an encore appearance. It's a necessary encore appearance. And that is with none other than CEO of No More Red Dots, my brother, Dr. Eddie Woods.
All right,
What's up?
all right. How you doing?
Hey, look, I just want to, I want to, we got to chew it up and be able to swallow some of the stuff that's going on. We got to find a way to fix some things.
I know.
And
I
I'm going
know.
to be a little methodical about it, and then I'm not going to be methodical about it, okay? Because I ain't scared of nobody.
I know that. I
Okay.
know it.
So let's get that clear, but there are some things that are continuing to happen. And one of the things is when you have an organization like yours,
Right.
okay, because you are on the front line. And for those listeners and viewers who maybe didn't hear our first interview with each other, and I'm gonna
Right.
put us on a more. I want to make my screen look like I'm upscaled and stuff. Um, I want you to tell the community about No More Red Dots and what
Okay.
you do. We're
All
going to
right.
do this one more time because I want them to understand how important your organization is.
Right. Okay. We do the long and the short of it is we do gun violence intervention work. Some people call it interruption, but we don't call it that. Mostly because when you say interruption, you're talking about just running out there trying to get somebody to stop. What we try to do is show them how to stop, teach them how to stop, where to go to make better choices, make better decisions.
Mhm.
We get notifications on shootings every time they happen in the city. We had 541 notifications last year. Of those notifications, about 170 something of them turned out to be lethal shootings or homicides.
Mhm.
We had somewhere close to about I'm gonna guess about 85 suicides that we get notifications on those
Wow.
as well. Yeah. So so part of what we do when we get the notification is that I dispatch it to my team. I have a team of about 8 to 10, depending on if you want to count myself, um, volunteers. Our focus in going to a shooting scene or homicide is to try to curb the flow or curb the amount of retaliation that can happen. And the way you do that is you got to know the backstory. You got to know why a person was shot. You got to know, have some kind of feel for what actually happened. And sometimes that can be relatively quick. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but usually
Mhm.
within an hour, we know who the person was that got shot. Within about a couple of hours or so, we'll have a pretty good feel for why it happened. Mostly because of the networks that my team and I have. We all have our own separate networks, but we come together to make one large network. So usually, just because we've been doing it so long, people will contact us to let us know what happened and when it happened and those kind of things like that. One of the things that's a benefit to that, if we get really lucky, then we end up getting information on the front end of a person looking to shoot somebody that had a problem with.
Mhm.
Now, uh, part of our biggest concern and the thing that's kind of baffling for us is the fact that a lot of people don't quite understand the magnitude of the problem. They think that if you can come up with a root cause and fix the root cause, then you pretty much are going to solve the problem, but it don't work like that.
Yeah.
It's a multi-headed beast that stems a lot from two or three real life ongoing factors. One is that we got way too many unregistered guns on the streets. Too many people got guns that they're not registered to them. They don't really take care of the weapons and none of those kind of things. And then we got way too many of those people being children, being kids.
Right.
You know, so I mean, anytime you got a child with a gun, that's an illegal weapon. It's automatically illegal from the get-go. And then I think the other thing is that what we've lacked in our community, and we're trying to do something about it with No More Red Dots, and that's, we need a widespread gun violence awareness campaign, a lot like what we did with cancer and drunk driving and those things. We can get the word out on almost anything if everybody's trying to do it, and we got some resources to make it happen. You know, but for some reason, you know, gun violence seems to be one of those things that folks tend to think that somebody else is going to fix.
Right.
Somebody else,
especially if it's not in their neighborhood.
Right. If it's not in their front yard, in fact, they just feel like, you know, those poor people, all of that kind of thing like that. But I can attest to the fact that gun violence is widespread over every community. You know, we track cases where individual who commits the shooting might commit the shooting in the 40212, but live in the 40222. You know, so it's kind of all over. You know, it's not kind of, it's very much all over. You know, so anytime we can get folks interested in it and feeling like they want to be a part of what we hope will be a solution in the long run. See, we've been successful at this before. When we were running at full capacity and fully funded, in 2018, we were able to help bring the numbers down from 2017, which are pretty significant. In 2019, we pretty much lost our funding. So we've been kind of at the mercy of volunteers and then individuals who pay enough attention to the work to have made donations here and there. You know, we've been able to maintain some of our programs. We have good relationships with the Department of Juvenile Justice and the Administrative Office of the Courts, and so we get some referrals from folks, but everybody has a need for us to pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
But when it's all said and done, you know, somehow the people who have control of the resources, control of the dollars, they tend to look elsewhere as opposed to looking in their own yard. And what's puzzling about that is the people from elsewhere are looking in our yard, specifically calling me for advice, calling No More Red Dots to can we speak to their group, or can we do some staff professional development, those kind of things like that. So consequently, you know, we're going to do what we need to do because this is our city. Right. You know, we'll talk to anybody who has some level of influence over a young person with a gun, or even any group that might be in that boat. You know, we don't really care a whole lot about, to be quite honest, we don't care a lot about drug dealing or any of those things. We just don't want people to shoot. Just don't shoot. You know, find another way to resolve whatever issue you have, or to try to get the power that you think you need to do what it is you do. And the reason we don't have to care about drug dealing and stuff, because they got other folks who are going to take care of that. Right. You know, we tell the young thugs and thugettes, you know, that our task is to get you at a place where you can make better decisions. Right. You know, where you can make a decision that don't include taking somebody's life, where you can decide that I'm going to live for my loved one that I just lost to gun violence, as opposed to dying for them. You know, you can actually.
Let me hold you up right here.
All right. All right.
Now I want to go back because I know you're a plethora of information,
I guess.
because because you're on the front lines.
All right.
I think, I don't know if I said this the last time we spoke, but you are what I would call an essential worker.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
A
think,
lot.
anybody that's on the front line, it's like you're the army in our neighborhood,
Pretty much. Yeah.
And so what I want to happen here today is we're gonna break this down.
Okay. All right.
We're
I'm gonna
gonna
ride with
remember that
you.
song. We're gonna get right down to the
Yeah.
real nitty gritty.
That's right.
Yeah, we're gonna get right down to the real nitty gritty, because and one of the first places to get down to the real nitty gritty is what you said, is resources.
Right.
Okay. Now, um, may I ask? I don't know if you want to. I don't know who the organization was. The organization, your funding that you got that you no longer have.
Right.
Um, where did that come from?
It came from for a long time. I'm going to say since about 2016 or so, maybe 17.
Okay.
We've had a relationship with the city,
Okay.
and primarily at that time through Sherry Hamilton and David
Ah.
James.
Okay.
They were our champions for quite a while. Matter of fact, they came up with the name No More Red Dots.
Oh wow.
I've
Okay.
been doing the work
I
for
didn't know that.
yeah, I've been doing the work for about 30 years or so, and they came to me in about 2011 and wanted to know if I could do a anti-gun violence program. And so I said, yeah, give me the outline. They didn't really have an outline. What the hell was the name? Which the name was No More Red Dots.
Mm-hmm.
So we developed it from there. At that time, I had 6 guys that were working with me. Well, actually, 4 guys and two ladies
Mm-hmm.
that were working with me. Young folks that I'd had in my group sessions when they were a lot younger.
Right.
And they gave us $10,000 for the whole year. And we were able to, to kind of make some inroads, do a lot of group sessions, do a lot of talking to folks on corners, wherever we could find folks who we knew
Had
were involved.
grassroots operation.
That's right. Out of the trunk. We was coming out of the trunk with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So we're kind of adapted to that. But in about 2017, 17, 18, in that fiscal year, we got a significant amount of funding. Metro Council approved us to get about $550,000.
Okay.
So with that, we were able to get some of the technical equipment that we needed, laptops and things like that. We were able to pay folks, part-time for the work that they were
doing the
doing.
work, right?
Yeah, and then even give some of the participants that we were working with, we were able to give them stipends for giving us a chance to help change their lives.
Right.
So then came this whole idea. Somebody somewhere decided that, okay, well, we need to have interruption. We need to have these interrupters that other cities have, and we need to have them fully paid. They need to have full-time jobs doing this work like that, and so that turned into a blessing that quickly flipped into a curse.
Okay.
Now, and I'm gonna try to explain this and be as nice as I can be, but if I get it sideways, you grab me by the back of the head, all right?
No problem. I don't have a problem with that. Okay.
So as we started to move forward in 2018, 19, we were a part of the city's Cure Violence Initiative. Now, the people at Cure Violence and I have known each other for maybe
Are you saying pure violence or cure?
Cure
Okay.
Violence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I've never heard of that one before.
Right. Yeah. They're a big operation that has done the work for a few years. You know, probably not as long as us, but they've done it for a while. And so, at any rate, I had a relationship with those guys since about maybe 2013, 14, something like that. You know, I knew them. I knew some of them.
Right.
And so we had exchanged information and talk shop on several occasions on neighborhood strategies. You know, what do you do if type of stuff. You know,
Right.
Because I've been in it for so long that a lot of folks ask me for advice and counsel and those kind of things like that. So anyway, 1819, we started into this initiative with the city. And we got a significant amount of money to do that initiative that we were able to pay full-time salaries to about 22 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. So, but the problem was that the people who ran the program did not have a good feel for the magnitude of the problem. They didn't understand how it was that No More Red Dots had been successful before they came along. And very simply, we paid attention to the whole metro area. We didn't narrow it down to just where we could probably have some success by working a couple of neighborhoods.
Right.
So because when you're doing this kind of work, you got to follow the gunfire. You got to follow where the shots come from. You got to follow where the information in the backstory leads you.
Right.
So, but that's not what they wanted. They wanted us to work in just two neighborhoods.
But so it sounds like they wanted to restrict your movement.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your movement was wherever the violence was, that's where you needed to be.
That's right. And then wherever we could get our hands on the individuals who were involved and get an opportunity to talk with them about doing something different, see how we could help them find jobs or get their rent paid or get something that would help them with child support, whatever. Those things that we do when you're talking community stuff. Now, understand this part. It's not just No More Red Dots in doing this work. There's a lot of other organizations, Peach Education Program, even Urban League, and a lot of other folks who are tuned into the work, but doing their particular agendas. They do their agendas, and it ends up being exercising how you can live a peaceful life just from doing the other agendas. Any number of churches that are tuned into this issue. We even went so far as when we had the significant amount of resources, we were able to have a chaplain that actually worked with us. And that's kind of significant and a little bit different than other organizations, So
wow, that's a necessary. Yeah. Sounds like that's an essential.
Yeah. See, they bring a whole nother perspective to everything.
Right.
So as it turns out, long story made short, the city entered into a budget crunch, and they had some tough decisions to make. And as it turned out, without a lot of particulars or any kind of detail about who said what now, who decided what, they decided to cut the Cure Violence program. So in cutting the program, our program was cut. And most people just assumed because our funding was cut, we were going to die. That was the end of it for us, But hell, we had been doing it forever with no money.
With no money.
First place. When we were working all 6 of the projects in Louisville in 1995 through 2000. We had limited funds then. We had to every time we're getting ready to do an activity with our kids, we had to go find somebody who would sponsor it, who would back it. So we were used to that particular part. And so when it came down to I told my team, we had a team meeting when we passed out the last checks. And I told them, I said, guys, ladies, look, here's the deal. I would suggest you go out and try to find you some kind of way that you can support your families and what have you. And then if you got some time, you know, you can work with me because I'm gonna be doing this. This is my mission. I don't
Right.
have a whole lot of choice,
Right.
you know. So as it turned out, you know, 10 members of the team decided that they was gonna stay. They'll work day jobs, but every minute that they could give me after that, they would be there, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
put them on call, and they'll respond to the call. So then I got lucky enough to have a son and a daughter that wanted a piece of it way back when. So, and I knew they was gonna stick it out, you know, even though they had other things they were doing, you know. And so when it's all said and done, you know, we stayed doing the work. We're still doing the work now. You know, we've developed some really good friendships and good professional partnerships. You know, Goodwill is an excellent partner. I mentioned Peace Education Program, Officer Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods. These folks are good friends and doing what they can do to help us to help them.
Right.
You know, if that makes sense. You know,
That's like I told you that comes from my Jerry Maguire. Help me, help you, to help me, to help you.
that's
You
right.
know, cause
That's how it
it's
works.
gonna come back around that you gonna need me to help you, and I'm gonna need you to help me.
And that's
And if
it's always worked like that. It's never not
but
worked like that.
people need to just really take a minute and grasp that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
this it's nothing but a slogan, but it's a truism.
yeah. That's right.
You know,
That's
it's not
right.
so much about show me the money.
Right,
That was
right.
not the point.
No,
And it's
no,
not the point here with us in this
no,
city at this time
not at all.
for these reasons.
Right,
Because
right,
this is the work that you do. Because I was saying before I met you, I was saying, is there somebody else that people call before I know they call Christopher 2X after the fact.
right,
I said, but isn't there somebody that they call maybe before things happen that's a preventive?
right, right,
And that's the piece to me that No More Red Dots feels that you
right,
are the preventive piece of for the violence that's going on in our communities.
right.
You are the ones that go out and actually have face-to-face conversations with these kids because
Yeah,
most of them are just kids.
right. A lot of them
You know,
are.
yeah.
Yeah,
You are the ones that end up going to talk to these parents,
right.
because I see you as the negotiator, the mediator.
A lot like that, yeah. As a matter of fact, we're trained in those areas. I mean, our folks are not just a bunch of folks running out there trying to get folks to stop doing what they're doing. You know, we're trained as de-escalators, trained as interventionists, and trained as mediators. So
Wow. Okay.
we have a it's a different kind of skill set. You know,
Well,
uh,
that's good to know. So people
yeah,
see, because I want people to know about No More Red Dots.
right,
I want
okay,
them to know the nitty gritty about the training,
right,
the
right,
the the mental aptitude.
yeah.
You know,
Well, you know,
aside from the heart that it takes to go to do the work, that they've got y'all got some training
that's right.
to go
Yeah.
do the work.
Right. So I mean, so we have a strategic plan for certain neighborhoods, certain individuals from when we come and get a chance to be in contact with them. We had at one point a large influx of individuals that were from other cities that were in our town, kind of taking over neighborhoods and those kind of things like that. So we
Hmm.
had a couple opportunities to have audiences with them and let them kind of know that this is not what you're going to be able to do here comfortably. We're going to kind of make it uncomfortable for you,
Right.
and we're not talking about police and none of that, but you're just not going to be taking over our neighborhoods and our citizens like that, like
Okay.
you're doing. So, I mean, but as far as the training goes, I've been doing trainings and so forth. Gosh, I guess almost all my life in a lot of different cities, a lot of different universities and so forth throughout the Southeast United States. And so this last week, I had the opportunity to do training of the outreach workers for Peace Education Program and for the Officer Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods. And so I think if we get an opportunity to do so, and we can get the resources to do so. I think we got a chance to have probably one of the best teams that we've had in a very long time in this city, operating and doing this work that would include peace education's outreach individuals that are actually part of the Pivot to Peace program. The Office of Safe and Health and Neighborhood has a group of outreach workers that'll be working primarily out of the Office of Safe and Health and Neighborhoods to implement the gun violence initiative or gun violence intervention program, GVI, and then you'd have No More Red Dots. That basically hands-on and try to pull young people into being participants in our programs. And our programs include Peace Through the Arts, in which we get an opportunity to teach kids how to turn what they do as a hobby into a career, and we also have peace basketball.
That's the part that I'm supposed to be in, the peace tip.
Exactly.
Oh, I hear you talking now.
As soon as somebody let us know that we can go, and we're waiting on the go. That's what we have right now.
Well, sometimes you can't wait on the go.
Well,
they have to see the go going.
Well, and that's what we're doing without nothing. We already doing that. See, okay. So I mean, I'm every dime I can scrape up, we getting snacks with it, or trying to feed some families so they can let their kids come, because they can't do no programs when they're hungry. They can't do any kind of programs when the lights is off. Right. So we got to figure out some kind of way to, and like I said, we got a lot of folks who are kind of tuned into it. We got a lot of private donors who we can go to for help with a lot of things. We got a gentleman that has donated to us our headquarters, the house that we use for headquarters over in Portland. Mm-hmm. He basically has been our champion in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of folks who I don't have any enemies in this town that I know about. If I do, they kind of stay away from me. Okay. So a lot of the folks who are kind of quietly trying to help, and then trying to not fall prey to a lot of the negative stuff that went down with us not having funding. Because a lot of folks never knew the story, because I never told our side of the story, and I probably won't.
Okay. So now let me stop you right there.
All right.
So now, where we are, and all the things that you have just said to me, because now when you speak, I'm listening. You almost like E.F. Hutton over there.
Stop it.
That this needs a come to Jesus meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. All these different sources.
Right.
That either have been participants or contributed to No More Red Dots, or helped come up with No More Red Dots. We need a confab.
Yeah.
Bring them together. Everybody needs to be brought together. I'd be glad to come, be a part of it. You need to bring them together and say, here we are. Here we are. We almost kind of back where you were before you had funding.
Right.
You didn't stop doing the work.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Can't stop.
So it sounds to me like I'm going to be your flag bearer.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate
you know what I'm saying?
That. Yeah.
My mother would say I was an exhibitionist, but I don't necessarily just have to. You could put a bag over my head for me to lead the parade, because this is a parade that needs to be led.
There you go. I
and
like
you,
that.
And you are the HIC. Folks don't know what that is. That's all right. But we know what we're talking about. Yeah. You don't just have a whole lot of keys. Used to be the man that had the whole lot of keys. But that's not the case.
You heard me now.
Listen, because, we have to sit down with those that may be in a position to make what you do a little bit easier, because it does nothing but make our lives a little
Right.
less stressful, a
Right.
little less fearful. People live in the West, or they live in Newburgh, or you almost can live anywhere. It does not matter,
That's right.
you know. But it has to be that something that we live in a city that's known for violence.
Yeah, and that's bad.
That's not how we want to live.
No, that's bad.
So whatever happened, because see, there are those that want you to succeed,
Exactly. Yeah.
like me.
Right.
There are those that may not be around no more that didn't want you to succeed. See,
That's true
we know
too. Yeah.
about
Yeah.
dropping salt.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know. Look,
Okay. You're right.
Louisville,
You're right.
Kentucky, and born bred from the hood, know all about it.
That's right.
All the word carrying.
Right.
Sometimes the word, you have to be aware. You have to beware of the carrier of the word.
Right.
Okay, because sometimes there's people in positions that want to position themselves to be in a better position than the folks that's doing the work.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because they
Oh,
don't
I
mind.
said a mouthful. Shut
They,
up. I
you
know I
did. I
did right
mean,
then.
you
That's a
went
mouthful.
you went deep right there. So,
Look,
but
but
there are a
it's
lot of folks.
serious.
There are a lot
It's
of folks that want to stand on
serious.
your shoulders and your back in order to succeed at something that they don't even know about. They don't even
Yeah.
know how to do it in the first
They're
place.
not even in the trenches.
No, not
They
not
standing around the
not
corner
even.
waiting for you to come and tell them if the coast is clear. Come on.
Right, most of the time. See, and some folks you can't go into a dark alley with. I mean, because
No, no.
it scares them, you
Yeah.
know. But and then you'll be surprised the amount of folks from all over our city who call me, email me, text me, and ask, "What can I do?
Yeah.
What can I do?" You know.
Yeah.
And so, while we won't ever put anybody in harm's way, everybody can talk to a kid. Everybody
Absolutely.
can try to teach somebody a better way. If you got an opportunity to have an audience with people either at your church or in your classroom or who you're tutoring or any of that, every once in a while, just ask them to tell you what's really going on. And you need
Yeah.
to,
Dig a little deeper.
yeah, dig a little deeper and listen to what they're not saying.
Right.
Because what they're not saying is where pain lives. Pain lives right there. It's our collective working to help each other to
Absolutely.
be better.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. But see, this is what I want to. I had a thought. It'll come back because when you get a certain age, they come and they go.
I've
You
seen
know.
some of mine do that.
But it's like a confab. Like I said, it's
Right?
sitting down saying, "Okay, this is not the Louisville that we grew up in."
No,
Number
no.
one, and that's for us OGs.
That's right. That's
You
right. And
know,
we done
I'm gonna
earned the
be I'm gonna
OG.
be an OG.
Yeah, we done earned the OG. We earned
You
it.
know, I'm an old girl. But we have to come as a unit to say, one organization will not stop the violence in the streets,
No,
because
no.
eventually what's going to happen, this is for any other parents that are out there that are relatives to the the parents of those children that are carrying guns. See, it's going to eventually come back on the
That's,
parents are going to be held responsible.
that's right. And somebody's got to be accountable.
You
If you
know,
got a bunch
it's
of
gonna
kids,
happen.
if you got a bunch of kids with guns, somebody has to be accountable for that.
Right.
And so what we've been encouraging folks to do is go to our website, which is www.nmrd.info, and let us help you help your child.
Mm-hmm.
Let us help you to help your baby. Especially if your baby's involved in stuff that you didn't think they'd ever be fooling with. They're
Mm-hmm.
involved with people that you wish they weren't fooling with anymore. Let
Mm-hmm.
us help you to deal with that. If they're not focused, if they're a good student that had decided that they'd rather be something else besides a good student, let us help you.
Mm-hmm. I'm writing the website down for you.
Oh, okay. All right.
www.nmrd
www.nmrd.info. INFO.
Okay. I hope I did that right. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. It can all be lowercase, but that's it. It'll get you there.
Okay.
And you can basically find out from there what it is that we do, and how we do it, what's available. Every once in a while, we'll have a nice little announcement about something that you might could move with, But you can actually make a referral from right there. You can get the information you need to refer a child or a family.
What if right now, if we do a call to action, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
for whomever is watching this show that may know a parent or someone that whose child is in the streets,
right.
um, and there are a lot of parents that know that they have weapons in their homes.
That's right.
See, you can't just you can't fix the problem if you try to hide the problem.
No,
You
no,
can't help a problem if you're being complicit.
that's right.
That means that if you are enabling somebody to keep their guns in your home, you're being complicit.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? If they go out and kill somebody and you know that you have a gun, because see, in a minute, it can roll back to the parent
That's right. That's
as
right.
negligence. They got all kind of rules that they can and laws to make them come against us. But there's some things that we have to do as to be responsible in our own homes.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
exactly right.
and this is gonna we talk about okay. At first, it used to be 16 to 25. Now, what is it? 14 to 25.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
That's like the age group. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna go to Louisville All Stars. That's my program that I wrote.
Right. Okay.
That I
Okay.
want.
Okay.
That it's yours. You hear me?
I
It's it's
appreciate
it's
you.
your program to for us to help make it flourish.
Yeah.
And I got some other ways to have places and spaces
Right.
to make it happen.
Well, I'm gonna tell you
Because
right now that I talk to my arts people and they just tickle to death, to have you just spend some time with them to so the vibe just can rub off.
oh,
They
I'd love
yeah,
to.
yeah,
I'm excited about that.
yeah,
Because that's we have to, like, when they get wild, when we used to watch Bonanza and all them old
yeah.
westerns,
Right,
and they harness all those pretty palominos in the corral and they close the gates.
right.
We have to harness our youth.
That's right.
I used to go to the Y that when it was down on 43rd and Broadway. I used to
Right.
take my tap lessons from Neil.
That's right. Yeah. Need
You
more.
know, and we had places that we went after school. I just got assigned to be on the board at the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage. That's a venue that needs to be flooded with children after school every day. I
Oh
say it
yeah.
all the time. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's the epicenter of our community now.
Right.
But at the same time, we need to be able to reach our kids where they are.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
we
right.
we 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 not getting ready to convert nobody.
No.
You
No.
know, and if we make and it's going to deal with the parents as well. The parents have to say, as my child, you will no longer do this.
That's right.
I know we got a problem with gangs, but still, you will no longer do this. It used to be a time that they'd send you down south to Big Mama's in them house, and you had to stay the whole summer. You had to slop hogs, whatever you had to do. I'm telling you, I mean, it's the truth. But
I
by the time
know.
you finish with that, and you felt, I mean, all the stress of living in the city in the concrete jungle. When they came home, they may have got a little bit of something that stuck.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I don't think our kids have that anymore. But what they do have is their individual talents.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's one of the ways. I won't say it's the only way that we can nurture, we can lead them in a different direction, is to nurture their abilities.
When
Okay.
something that they really like to do turns
Yes.
into a career, if we can
Yes.
tell you, I mean
Then
that's
that'll make them make different
yeah,
decisions.
right fast.
You can't be a $1 million rapper in the penitentiary.
No, it don't work.
It don't. I mean,
It don't
don't
work.
nobody know about it but the people
Yeah,
in the penitentiary.
that's right.
I
That's right.
don't think you're gonna get much Facebook exposure
No,
and no
not very
and
much. Yeah.
much YouTube exposure,
No,
but you
not
can make decisions about your life. I moved back here, and Anita Moore, God rest her soul, she told me when I came, they still have Lanita Rockettes over at Christ the King on Saturday.
they do.
Yeah,
I
the
didn't know
girls
that.
they still dancing
Okay.
on Saturdays. Okay, but I went to see her, and she told me, she said, Janice, she said, most of these kids say that they don't expect to live past 18 years old. I
That's
had
right.
never heard anything like that in my
That's
life.
right. That's right.
When she said that to me, it's gotta hurt your heart because Eddie, we grew up with vibrant childhoods.
That's exactly. And a lot of people shared in those childhoods. See,
Yeah, I mean, in
you
Louisville,
know.
Kentucky, we grew up with vibrant childhoods. I was born in Beecher Terrace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just the other day, I was talking to my husband that I remember from 3. I left when I was 7. But from 3 years old, I can tell you, I mean, somebody put on Facebook, my cousin JJ, he said something about, remember these nicknames, Head Plate, Junebug. So they wanted you to put some more names down, right? And I started thinking, and I started putting Butch McMurray, Skeeter, Skeeter and Rita. They were brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
just all kind of different names that was just Beecher Terrace. Now,
Yeah.
just imagine if you took all that upbringing, you got Southwick, Carter Homes, Shepherd Square,
That's right.
College Park,
That's right.
I'm Park Hill.
Yeah.
I didn't. Park Hill
Yeah.
was a little later after them 50s.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and see,
It
they
was
weren't projects to us then.
no, it wasn't. No.
That
See,
was
it
middle
ain't
class living.
well see, and then it ain't never the jungle to the line. It's
Ah,
home. You
yeah.
know,
Okay.
so that's kind of how we was with it. A lot of folks might have been afraid, but it just wasn't anywhere
Yeah.
we'd be afraid of because we knew we were looked out for and well protected just because
Yes.
adults did adult things and they kept us from it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
even if they were doing wrong, they didn't want us dealing with it because they didn't
I
want to
didn't
deal
see
with
a
our
lot of the
folks.
wrong. I didn't
No,
see a lot of the wrong.
no, because
No.
they didn't want us. They didn't want to have to deal with our parents in a lot of cases. My dad is sold Cadillacs to almost everybody in Louisville up at Brown Brothers Cadillac.
Brown Brothers. Okay.
Yeah, and so you know, eh, I couldn't hardly go anywhere without them telling him that I was there.
Right.
And then he wouldn't do nothing but turn it over to my mama, and then she'd handle it the way she handles stuff.
Right. Right.
Which and you mentioned about the going to the farm and all of that. We had to go to the country every summer
Mm-hmm.
because Mama said you couldn't grow anything on asphalt. So we go down there to learn how to work.
Yeah.
And it was all right. We did none of our kids grow up allergic to work.
Right.
None of them. I mean, we didn't have no problem with as many jobs. We sold Lure Defenders, Jet magazines, Ebony's, all of that, and then every once in a while, I would throw in a Louisville Times or Courier Journal.
Right.
But most of the time we was out
Louisville
selling out.
Times. Lord, you went back and got that when I
I'm
got
saying,
that one.
you know, I mean, we had to
Wow.
work. That's how it was.
Yeah. But
You
see,
know,
that's what we need to be able to impart to these kids.
right?
You know, um,
Ain't no
that
shame in it.
no, and we got folks that have left. All you got to do is say Muhammad Ali. If he can make it out of the bricks
Yeah, yeah,
or the hood
The
and
hood for
become,
sure.
I mean, become an icon in the world, not just the United States, in
Yeah,
the world.
in the world.
Possibilities are endless,
Yeah,
but we have to show them. They've got to be able to see somebody that's done something, that's heard something, that knows how to do something. So they'll have, that respect that we have for our elders. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. All of that, it worked. Whoever told them that they didn't have to say it anymore was a liar.
yeah, that was lying.
Was a liar. I
They didn't
tell them
talk.
now when
They
kids
hadn't
meet
talked to
me.
our people. They hadn't talked to our parents.
No.
You better not try that.
And I say, you can't call me Janice. And you 15 years old. No, baby, you can't call me Miss Janice. If you
Yeah,
22 years old, you still can't call me Janice. You can call me Miss Janice. You got to put a handle on that
that's
thing right
right.
there.
That's right.
So we can keep this relationship in perspective,
Right.
because our kids don't have a lot of that perspective. They don't
No, they
understand
don't.
that, you
No.
know.
See,
But we got to deal with some honor and respect.
yeah,
And
right.
then, I'll share with you everything I know,
That's
because
right.
I've been around the world 3 times
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. See,
So now you want to see what it takes to go? Didn't take a whole lot.
yeah.
Didn't take a whole lot. I won my tickets. The first time I won my tickets because I had a job. And they said, what would you like to have in life? I said, well, I just want to go to Paris. They said, well, make me an offer. Write it up. How much money you gonna make? I worked at a radio station.
Right.
I said, in 3 months, I'll make you $50,000. They said, well, if you make $50,000 in 3 months, not only will we give you one round trip ticket, we'll give you two. I got so busy in the heat in Las Vegas. It was 110 degrees. I had my cold water bottles. I worked on my way to work. I stopped at all my clients, and I worked on my way home. I stopped at all my clients. I wasn't being down the heat out there. You had to learn how to work smart now.
That's right. That's right. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the
and
truth?
and and I won it. I got tickets. I took my mama to Paris, but I sent her home. I stayed.
Yeah.
Don't nothing beat a failure but a try.
That's right. That's right. That's
You can't
absolutely
tell
right.
me what I can't do.
That's right. You always been like that though. Yeah.
Yeah, but you sure can't tell me what I can't do. I say, oh, is that right? And I'm not gonna try to convince you,
Right.
because see, I was that little girl that even my brother told me, Mama, she can't be in Miss Exposition. She's got skinny legs. I had to beat up all my friends for talking about my sister. My mama said, don't you ever say that again.
Yeah.
And I got in the contest, and as they were naming Miss Exposition 19, what was it, 67, 68, my brother was coming through the convention center downtown, through the door with his friends, little Ronnie and Leon and all them fellas.
Yeah. No.
And they was coming in the door, and they were naming me. And my brother stops in the doorway, and he looks. And I saw him, and I stuck my tongue out at him. Like, you can't tell me what I can't do.
That's right.
And
That's right.
anybody listening, can't nobody tell you what you can't do.
That's right. You better not
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah. Better not listen to nobody else.
That's right. How somebody who ain't done nothing gonna tell you how to
Yeah.
do what you
Yeah.
do,
Come on. But I'm saying with you, my Louisville All Stars program is yours for the taking.
Well, I sure appreciate that. I mean, I can't even tell you how much.
Yeah. It's yours for the taking, because you're on the ground floor. You're doing the heavy lifting.
That's right.
And that's who we need. I
I
wrote the
appreciate that.
program for 16 to 25-year-olds, the ones
Right.
that I thought had the guns.
That's right. That's right. And that's how
Just
it's
so
got to
I can
happen.
show
See,
you a better way.
I mean, as long as we can use what we know as people to benefit the younger kids and people who are coming up behind us.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some folks, and I can start naming some of these young folks, but they're in their late 20s and early 30s. They're going to be something special because
Okay.
they really tuned into helping folks, already tuned into the depths of it. They're socially conscious, and they're trying to do what they can do. And the reason we know about them It's because they ask us for advice. It ain't no harm in asking for advice.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
if you don't know, ask somebody. That's just how
Right.
it's always been. I
Right.
mean, we've always done it that way, you know. I never
Yeah.
seen anybody get out on the dance floor that didn't know how to dance if they didn't try.
Right.
You know, you can't shy away from dance floors just because you don't know how to dance. If you
Yeah.
want to learn,
Just keep moving, and
that's right.
eventually you'll learn what they're doing.
That's how it works, you know.
Yeah. So listen, Eddie,
Yes,
and I'm gonna say this, and anybody else is listening. This No More Red Dots is the kind of organization that needs our community behind them.
right, right.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
it's a
Christopher
community
Truex,
thing,
he has his place. He's got his thing that happens, and he's
right,
there for families, and they know him.
right,
But that's always seems to be to me after the fact.
right.
I'd rather try to help keep the kids alive.
Well, you
You
know
know, that's
what?
like Jesse used to say, keep hope alive.
That's
If
right.
if our children die, we don't have hope for our
I
race.
don't have any kind of hope. You know, one of the things that folks used to tell me that were in law enforcement, they said that if No More Red Dots is successful, then the police have a little less to do.
Oh, sure.
And that's kind of one of the things that have been kind of, you know, our
Well, we
driving
really want them to
force.
have less to do with our kids.
Ain't no doubt about it. Especially, you know,
Because the way that they handling things is not. We're
yeah,
not trying to take them out. We're trying
no,
to lift them up and
yeah,
move them on their way.
that's
So
right.
we're gonna work together, Eddie,
Okay, ain't no doubt
and
about
and
it.
and
Ain't no
uh,
doubt about it. I'm
and
looking
and
forward to
and
it.
I just want to say um, to the overall community, you know, that if you understand, if you're a native Louisvillian, and if you've been here for over, how long you been here, Jack? Because I can't leave my husband now. 25 years, 30 years. You've been here long enough to know the culture of Louisville, Kentucky.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And it's a little
So
different.
if you want to make our community better, almost like mo better,
Mo better.
make our community mo better, like mo better blues.
That's right.
We have to all step out of our comfort zones,
That's right.
because we're dealing with a lot of misguided youth that don't see any future. I mean, the
No.
thought of a child not seeing their future past 18 years old is just baffling to me.
Yeah. Yeah. We
But
got a
then
lot
they,
like that.
when they're around their peers, they singing, they dancing, they rapping. You know what I'm saying? They're doing the things that they know how to do. They just need to be nurtured.
Yeah.
And that's what No More Red Dots is trying to do, to
Exactly.
nurture these youth, so we don't see them symbolized as a red dot on a map in what
No.
area of town
No.
that they were slain.
Exactly.
That's not what that
No.
means. No more red
Nobody's
dots.
life should end up like that.
No, that's not
Nobody.
what's happening.
You know.
But we also need city government
That's right.
take notice.
That's
You
right.
know, we know people can say all kind of things about all kind of people at any kind of time.
That's right.
Pick your poison. You
That's right.
choose whether you believe that an organization is worth its salt or you don't. But you can't say it ain't worth its salt cause somebody sprinkled some.
Yeah. Now, you know, because
I'm just saying.
when it's all said and done, you don't be around for 30 years and you're not genuine, you're not forthright, and you're not honest.
Right.
I mean, when it's all said and done, you know, if a guilty person is going to be where guilty people go,
Yeah.
they're not going to be amongst us.
Well,
They're not going to be amongst us.
it's all about. I'm gonna say it again. Eddie Woods, I'm gonna help you so you can help me,
That's
so
right.
I can help you,
That's
and
right.
we gonna help them
That's right. That's how it's going to work.
so they can live. So they can live.
That's right.
As long as we can keep the police from killing our kids, we don't keep them from killing each other, then they can live.
That's right. That's right. That's how it's got to be. You know, I mean, if you'd be surprised the number of kids who start to help other kids when they learn how.
Right.
When they actually learn how, when they get a feel for that,
Right.
you know, and when
It'll
they,
make a difference.
it'll make a huge difference.
What I'm gonna say on that note, my brother, I'm here. Huh?
Larry got the head coaching job, but
Oh, Jack said Larry Kirksey got the head coaching job in Houston.
What at Houston,
World League.
World League. Okay, he got the job, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He should have been and had a job.
yeah, right.
Me,
Exactly.
me and you know that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But that's all good.
Eddie, okay. So
All right.
I'm waiting for next week we getting together
All
and
right.
put this confab together.
Okay.
All
All
those
right.
organizations, just we can get in a room together. We
Yeah.
can socially distance. If you need a place, I can find a place.
All right, and it's not going to be a real problem. I think right about now we still got some folks that are afraid of the virus and like that, including myself. But at the same time,
You got your shots?
Yeah, I
You
got
was
them.
old enough to get them.
Yeah, I got them. I think I invented the shots. You know, so-
Listen, well, like I said, there's a we need to make the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage the epicenter
I
of the
got to go
community.
down there and holler at my man too. I ain't talked
Look,
to him for a few
we
minutes. I got to
talked
holler at him.
about you
I
today.
know it. I got to get up with my
Today.
man because he and I used to chop it up, man. That's a
He
heavy cut
sung your
there.
praises.
That's a
He
heavy cut
sung your
there, man.
praises.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed that he knew you. And I was like,
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
I know a lot of folks now. I mean,
Okay.
when you're a dinosaur, you tend to know a lot of people, you know.
Have mercy. On that note,
All right.
it's dinner time.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I appreciate having you. Just you want to hang around, we'll talk when I get finished, okay?
Yeah, I got to get out of here on these strips for a few minutes.
Go do what you gotta do.
All right.
Take care of yourself. Be
All right.
safe.
Be safe.
All right, darling. Bye-bye. Wow. Man, I got a little flushed. I got a little flushed. Well, I mean, it's organizations like No More Red Dots that we need in our community to have the conversations with our kids that are carrying the guns, that have beefs with somebody. And tell the truth, you really don't need to be in the game. You really don't need to be in the game because that's a myth. All these kids that have been uh, uh, victims of homicide that were in gangs. It's a myth. The gang didn't save them. I'm just saying. So, and parents need to understand that uh, we need to rein in some of the behavior of our children. If you know they got guns in your house, you got to get rid of the guns. Because if your child has guns in the house, somebody else knows that they have guns, and if they're coming for your child, you're in the way. So you can't stop things from happening. You can stop behaviors, and sometimes that even means you have to move someplace different. Or like I said, they used to send your kid down to grandmama's in I can't say Alabama because I don't think nothing happened to black folks good in Alabama. That's just my feeling about Alabama. I don't even want to drive through it. But anyway, it used to be that, if somebody misbehaved in the summer, they had to go to grandma's house in the country somewhere where they had to work. We have to take our children out of harm's way. I don't have any, but if I had some, I'd be taking them out of harm's way. I'd hate to say Louisville was not a great place to raise children. It was a great place that I was raised. But if we're not being the community that we need to be, we need to get behind organizations like No More Red Dots. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And on that note, it's dinner time. Guess who's coming to dinner? I'm going to see you on Friday. I haven't got my guest solidified for Friday, but we'll be here. Think about what I said. I need anybody that's interested in volunteering to working with No More Red Dots. Working with me, I've got a program called Louisville All Stars. It's for 16 to 25-year-olds that are talented, sing, dance, act, performing artists. That's what I teach, artist development. And if you don't think after being in show business for 50 years that I can't teach artist development, well, I'm here to prove you wrong, my dear. On that note, have a good night. Bon appetit. Fine dining.
I didn't stop.